So we've always had our hands on trying to expand public access. And when the county bought this park in 2002, it was basically pretty much trashed of decades of total neglect and totally being unloved. And we spent a number of months and years just picking up the trash. And then we inspired the county. Eventually they built some parking, and then they expanded the parking, and then they did a little bit more, we did a little more, till now it's really a park, and it's really comfortable and it's relaxing to be here. And then, as I mentioned, it was a little bit hard originally to get to the water, so this is how this particular steps had gone. So I now want to let Jim talk about how it actually happened.
When he said, by the way, you're a Watershed Steward, I'm sure you can come up with some solution. And it was truly a ravine. It's like, I don't know what to do with that. I can't do that. And so I called Josh with the Watershed Stewards, and he came over and we looked at it, and we came up with some ideas. And then from that I developed a plan, we submitted it, and I thought, well, that'll be the end of that, we'll never get a permit. And then with some help from Donna Liberto, we actually did get a permit, which I was amazed. And so then, okay, we're going to build it. And then it was like, well, I can't build that thing. How on earth are we going to do this? And just about then, Mike Maguire steps up and says, I have a company, we have a marine contracting company, and some guys, we can dedicate a week to this. And they did. And like a day later, he comes back and says, by the way, my supplier, the Stone Store, and there's a representative here today, thank you very much. They donated all the materials, the block, the gravel, the topsoil. So between the Stone Store and Mike, we were able to put this thing together. It was amazing. And then with help from my wife, Lisa Crafton, Baywise Master Gardener, we came up with a list of native plants to put in, which we got from Replant Anne Arundel and some other wholesalers in the area. We had a Maguire River Association planting day. And prior to that, we did a Maguire River soil moving. We moved in drywall buckets 4 to 5 yards of soil down behind these walls and graded it off. So it took lots of work, but because all these different groups came together and worked together, we were able to get a job done that neither I nor just one or two of us could do. And so the idea of collaboration really, to me, is the driving thing here. When we work with the government agencies, when we work with private industry, we can get a lot more done. There's grant money out there. I'm excited about the Maguire River doing more jobs like this in our watershed.
Yes, it does.
I will present this to the Maguire River Association, but please know, from the Stone Store, Mike, there he is, yep, and Jim, to you, the Watershed Stewards, this is really to everybody, but it's kind of going to Maguire River. So on behalf of the County Council of Anne Arundel County, this citation is presented to the Maguire River Association in recognition. The County Council would like to recognize your efforts to protect and preserve Beachwood Park for the community. We thank you for your involvement in this program and for your community service.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
And Suzanne from the Watershed Stewards and the Replant Anne Arundel is also going to give us a few words.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everybody. This is such an amazing spot, and I think collaboration is the key. Jim, thank you so much, and thank you, Lise and Paul, for making this happen, and everyone else. For those that might not be familiar with Watershed Stewards Academy, we build capacity in neighborhoods to build restoration projects like this one. And Jim is one of 280 watershed stewards that have been trained to do restoration projects and engage their neighbors from Brooklyn Park all the way down to Herring Bay. And since 2009, they've installed over 3,200 projects just like this one, and they really make action happen. So Jim, thank you so much for your work and all of the volunteers, because we couldn't get it done without you. So we're also here to celebrate the inaugural year of a new program called Replant Anne Arundel. And it was about 18 months ago that Matt came and shared with me a vision that County Executive Pittman had about helping communities to replace forests that were lost, lots and lots of trees lost in recent years. And he said, we should replant Anne Arundel. And I said, oh, that sounds like something that we could do. So we did that. We started in 2020, and we planted, community members planted almost 5,000 trees in neighborhoods, at libraries, in parks, at congregations all throughout the county. And we're continuing that again in 2021, so we're so excited. But when we started in 2020, we never could have imagined what this replant program would have meant for our county. Yes, planting trees is great. We love trees. I'm going to talk about trees in a minute. But in a year when there was so much pain, when everybody's lives were turned upside down, where did we go? We went to our community spaces. We went to parks like this one. We went to our backyards, and that became our refuge. And in a time when so much was out of control, we needed to feel the power of making a positive difference, and that's what Replant Anne Arundel did. So it really helped to heal our county, in addition to just planting trees. So incredibly important.
Just imagine what it looked like as the water was pouring down and the erosion was happening, and it was just, and the people walking down there. So you really targeted an obviously really important spot to improve. And I've got to say, I've never been to Beachwood Park. And hearing some of the history from Paul was really kind of, I had no idea. This was an African American park where there was all kinds of entertainment stuff, and people were baptized here, and there's history, and the Anne Arundel County owned it, but kind of sat on it. Sorry. Finally, it's time to do some stuff with it. So I look forward to doing more. I'm glad there's a kayak launch. We've got to get the people out here and open up places like this so that the public enjoys it. And then we get what, people thank me for, money for stuff like Replant Anne Arundel. It's not my money, it's the taxpayers' money. And the only way that it happens is if people support that. And so, the stormwater fee was very controversial. And without the stormwater fee, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of these things. And Replant Anne Arundel, the funding for that was not controversial. The tree bill was somewhat controversial, where we were trying to protect the existing trees, but we knew we had lost a lot of trees, more than almost any other county in recent years due to development. And so slowing down the loss of trees was really important, but obviously planting more trees. And I have to thank Matt Johnston, who's behind the camera there. Hi, Matt. Our environmental policy director. It's a new position that didn't exist before, and then had the wisdom to go to the Watershed Stewards Academy. And our first budget, our first year, I was really inspired by the fact that we have this amazing institution that mobilizes this army of people to work on improving the water in the watershed in Anne Arundel County. And they're all volunteers. And so we put through our stormwater fee, through our watershed protection and restoration program, we put additional funding to train more people to be part of the Watershed Stewards Academy. So when we thought, okay, we got to plant thousands of trees in this county, it was really obvious that y'all were the ones who could pull it off. So thank you for doing that. I understand the goal was 4,000, and you got closer to 5,000. We're going to have to do another 100,000, right, this year? Is that the plan? At least another 5,000. So it's really great that we're all here, on Earth Day or close to Earth Day, planting yet another tree. I understand it's going to be a pretty cool tree, but we'll let you all explain that.
Yeah. It's something that we as a company really enjoy being part of, and really it's, we're just the batter, Paul and everyone else, they're kind of the pitcher. And so when it came down to looking at it, we assessed it, and it was something that we could contribute and take care of. you know, and again, ag trans, you know, we use ag trans for stuff on a lot of our jobs, but you know, we knew we could build it. But as far as you know, it being a volunteer type thing, you know, coming out of pocket and having them step up and donate the material, and you know, it was kind of an ongoing thing, like, you know, we need this much, and then we started building, we need more, and they just time and time again showed up. Zach, you know, was the foreman on actually building it, and did a terrific job. You know, they built it as if it was for them, you know, and it kind of is. You know, it's for all of us, because this is a park where we can take our kids and our families. And anyway, I really appreciate being part of this, and Maguire Marine really enjoys just anything we can do to chip in. It's all good people doing good things.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Here you go.
This is a witch hazel, and it's an understory tree, so it'll be really happy in this part of the forest. But it's a special tree because it flowers late in the fall, actually after it drops its leaves, and it's a pollination source, a food for pollinators late in the fall when nothing else is blooming. And so, and when you walk down these stairs, you will be amazed at the smell. So, really special food for our pollinators. And with that, we'll put it in the ground.
Is that right?
The group can weigh in on what you think that angle's good, everybody.
This is my angle expert.
Turn it a little bit. Tilt it a little bit. Turn it a little bit. Maybe.
Got some tulips at my house after this, if you want to come
All right, I'll hold it and you can go.
It's a narrow little shovel.
It is a narrow little shovel.
It's my best friend in the garden.
Yeah.
I can tell you're getting better at
There's a lot of trees to plant, so he's got to practice.